Bye.
Oh god, so natural.
And take two.
Today we're here at the salon and we wanted to cover off a semi-serious topic.
A very serious topic.
Well, it is, yeah, a serious topic. We actually wanted to talk about dealing with inappropriate clients and dealing with unwanted customers. And we've got Josh here today, and he is our expert that's come to talk to us about how we can deal with situations. So, Josh, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Great. Hey, my name's Josh Briggs. For the last 10 years I've been involved predominantly in the community sector, working with young people in schools in the community in different organisations, as well as doing work around sexual violence prevention for the last several years as well. So my background is around how do we communicate with people when they're not in the best state they could be in, as well as when they're feeling really good as well. So how do we communicate with our body language and the choices that we make?
Yeah, cool. So just to, I suppose, give a little bit of background as to why I wanted to make this video is because on a therapist forum recently I saw a surveillance footage of a guy who basically hid in an area of a salon for some unknown reason, and I just thought it kind of, I suppose, made me think about some situations that we'd had in our salon that made me feel uncomfortable with people. We're right beside a bottle store, so you know, there is people that are drunk outside sometimes and don't make the best judgments and decisions, and I really wanted to talk to someone about how we could deal with that. When I went on Facebook, I asked what should I do, and there's a lot of people saying go and do self-defense and I was like, it's not what I'm meaning. I'm not wanting to go and learn how to do self-defense. I'm meaning I want to learn how to actually deal with the situation without having to worry about self-defense. And when we talked to you initially, you explained to us about self-defense, when you should and shouldn't do it. Do you want to?
Yeah, so I've taught Muay Thai before in the past as a trainer, and I've done boxing for several years as well. And I don't think learning self-defense or a martial arts is a great thing for this kind of scenario.
Yeah.
People that we train for years to get good at a technique,
Yeah.
let alone doing a small block course on how to defend yourself,
Yeah.
isn't going to probably be helpful instinctually when it came to a physical altercation.
Yeah.
As well as, even if you did get really proficient at it, you don't want to walk into these environments with the idea of I'm going to be physically enabled to actually hurt someone.
So with the confidence that you think that you'll be okay. So you want to talk to us more about, like, before it gets to that point, sort of thing, how to deal with it and how to diffuse it before it actually escalates to where you would need to use something like that.
Yeah, and so it's what can you do to prevent anything in the first place? Stuff will still happen anyway.
Yeah.
So when it does happen, what can you do to recognise it and prevent more incidents or getting more escalated?
Yeah.
And also your self-care after that fact as well. So what do you do to look after yourself?
Yeah, and I think that's something that we really hadn't thought about is what you should do after you have an incident.
Absolutely.
We're just kind of like, we talk to one another and then that's that. And so I think that was a real eye-opener talking to you originally. I was just wondering, well, we've talked about self-defense, whether we need to worry about that aspect at this point. So we're not going to cover self-defense today when that's needed.
I suppose for us in our salon personally, like Jodie mentioned, that we are next to a bottle store. So particularly say on a Friday night, if we, the salon's open till 5, people are obviously coming in for their alcohol, and some of those people can already be intoxicated. Yeah. And because we are right next door, sometimes people might think it's a good idea to just be silly or try and come in or try and talk to us or for just
stand at the window.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had a guy come in and just sit on the couch when we were in therapy, just sit there, and when I addressed him, I was just like, how can I help? Totally ignored me and just kept texting, and obviously he was
an uncomfortable situation. And we do try and lock the door, but that's not always the case. We're not always going to be able to do that. And so maybe we should talk about, I remember when you came, you were talking about how when people come in, if they're the bell curve, how you said where they're at when they come in.
Yeah, and so there's a model called the irate model, looking at a bell curve of where people are at in their physical state and also their mental state as well. And normally most people are quite relaxed during the day and they're chilled out and maybe a bit of agitation, but nothing too overwhelming. But if someone comes into your experience where they're really peaking. So maybe they're really angry and physically annoyed, maybe they're emotionally broken down, maybe they've lost their job, or they've broken up with their partner, or that's going on, or they're intoxicated on alcohol, or they've popped some pills, or shot up on some drugs.
Yeah.
They're not in a space where you can reason, you know? And so the more irate someone gets, or the more intoxicated, or the more stupefied someone is, the least they can take in.
Right.
Because they're not actually there in the state of mind to be able to listen and receive information.
So having a conversation with that person
Isn't going to work.
isn't going to work.
Yeah, if anything, it may actually agitate them more, and make them more annoyed and more hard to deal with.
Right.
So being really direct into saying like a couple of words, like 2 or 3 most, like get out.
Yeah.
So short syllables as well.
Yeah, just short, non-complicated, and even a clear body gesture, like get out.
Right.
You know, get out.
Yeah, please leave. Yeah,
Not even please leave, just leave now.
Right.
You know, like really to the point.
Yeah.
And it's and if you say like, can you please leave now? I'd really appreciate it.
Right.
You know, that's not going to work.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because they can't comprehend that.
No,
What you're saying.
it's too much, and they'll just,
Yeah, you probably need to have a little bit of firmness there anyway, I suppose.
Yeah,
You know,
and so it's being confident in yourself
yeah.
that this is what you need, and this is what you feel comfortable with as them leaving.
Yeah.
The best way to communicate that is being clear and brief.
Right.
And I remember the other thing that you talked about was the clear path for them to leave.
Right,
Yeah, and so working with young people especially, I learned around flight or fight.
Yeah.
And so if someone's stuck somewhere and they want to leave, and if they really want to get out of there, they'll leave regardless of what's in their way.
Right.
And so if you block that client in or that person in, they're going to get out. And so if you're in their way, they'll go through you.
Yes.
Even if they don't want to physically harm you, they may do so in trying to leave.
So if you're going to stand by the door to say please leave, your best bet is to actually open that door so that there's a path for them to go, rather than standing at the door like
In the way.
waiting for them to go type thing.
Yeah, and sometimes it happens around like parental relationships.
Right.
So parents will stand by the door and go, get in your room, when you're actually blocking the door to get into the room.
Right.
It's kind of quite contrary.
Right.
And so same thing, you want to open the door, if even you want to open the door, or to say get out and direct them. You don't want to be an obstacle for them to leave.
Right. Yeah. And probably if you're on drugs or alcohol or whatever, you're probably not going to really think straight anyway.
No.
It's just going to be like bulldoze and get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not going to care what's there or in your way.
Yeah.
No.
And so if possible, when having your waiting room set up, having that door, having clear access is a really positive thing to do. It makes people feel a lot more at ease and rest, even if they aren't irate, if they're just calm and relaxed. It's quite soothing knowing you have the choice to leave,
Yeah.
rather than blocking them in.